Okay.
First half of 2026 took me often out of state and therefore out of commission socially. Starting in July, my world changed a little bit in a good way, and I am finally full-time back in the place that I call home. However, because relationships need nurturing, I found that the state of my social life was in desperate need of some TLC. Because of this, I decided July would be my new year, part 2, and I really aimed to maximize my month, taking advantage of my days off and really filling it with memories that I would really enjoy looking back on. Tonight is the Franklin Rodeo, and I've lived here for 4 years and I've never been, which is criminal. So I'm finally making it out tonight with one of my friends, and I don't really know what to expect. I don't think I've been to a rodeo before. I mean, surely I have, but maybe as a kid. And I think I only have like 4 exposures left on my camera. Yeah, 4 more. By the way, this is an Olympus Stylus Zoom Deluxe. I love this camera. This was a gift to myself, kind of for my 25th birthday, kind of for graduating my flight attendant training. I'm definitely a warm weather girl, so I know come winter I'm going to look back at these videos and feel some sort of satisfaction that I was able to fully take advantage and appreciate the warmth and the sunshine. Not only did I say yes to plans that I maybe wouldn't usually take part in, but I also organized plans, and I was the one extending an invitation, which I think is a really important thing to note. I made my home feel more like home, and I tried my best not to waste a second of actually being boots on the ground, metaphorically and physically for me. Think productive time while being independent and prioritizing time with others. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I've been wanting to switch off that bookshelf since I moved in, which was 4 years ago, and I just never got around to it because I was like, I have something that works, do I really need to replace it? This bookshelf is just the Billy bookshelf from IKEA, and I got the extension on top so that it would go all the way toward the ceiling. The other bookshelf was black, but the biggest problem with it was that it didn't have any sides. So I couldn't put my books upright because if they tipped toward the wall, there was a gap and they would fall. So it kind of solves that problem that I used to have. Plus the brown wood matches my mirror, my art, my headboard. And now that I see it like this and how perfectly it fits in that space, I really just cannot believe it took me so long. It's amazing that I waited. Okay, now it's time to load it up. For Christmas, my mom got my sister and I each a collection of classic books. These are an example of the covers. Mysterious Affair at Styles, Frankenstein, Great Gatsby. What I've learned is that the timing doesn't matter, the setting doesn't matter, but good company does. And a good topic of conversation never hurt anybody.
It's just, since the last one turned out blank, yeah, the question is like whether there's like...
When I got back from my last trip, I had quite a few packages waiting for me downstairs, so I'm gonna show you what I got. First of all, not super exciting, I got a replacement of my Nish Sugar portable steamer. I love this. I just broke mine and I cracked it right here so it lets a lot of the air out, which makes it much less effective to steam, obviously. I broke it like 8 months ago and I've just been putting off getting a new one, and I figured it was finally time to just pull the trigger. I got the exact same one in the exact same color. Next, I got 2 tops from Aritzia. They're the same cut, but they're different colors. This is called the Wilder top. It's a halter. Got one in black, and then I got one in brown polka dot. I thought this was black and white, but it's not. I love halters. I have since I was a kid and I was in dance. I would always gravitate towards haltered leotards. Now halters are trending, so they're widely available, which they used to not be. So I figured while I could find them in stores, I should just grab a bunch. I got 2 pairs of heels by Jessica Simpson. Very, very cute. These sandals, I just want to be more of a casual heel wearer, so figured these would be easy enough. And then this pair that I thought was brown, but it's more of a red crocodile. Really pretty, but too high. I just know myself and I'm not gonna wear these. But they're really pretty and they're really comfortable, and the reason I got Jessica Simpson heels is because I've gotten so many cute pairs of shoes recently that have just wrecked my feet. And I used to wear heels, funnily enough, way more when I was a teenager. I was like, when I was younger, maybe my feet would ache from all the weight being on the ball of my foot, but the shoes were not hurting me. And I remembered my favorite pair of heels that I would wear with everything was a Jessica Simpson. So I was like, let me try and see, because I have faith that they'll be comfortable. And they are. They're honestly great. They're just a little too high. And these are perfect. Going to Barcelona is the outfit. Actually, new shoes. Feeling good.
What do we say? Welcome to Barcelona.
Obviously, my month did not come without working, but it was my time at home that I really maximized. I got a little floral order and I'm gonna drop that off tomorrow. So I'm going to go raid my mom's garden right now. And one of my friends is gonna join me because how fun. I really tried to be intentional about inviting people into my daily practices or into my obligations. Example A being this floral order that I had to do regardless that transformed into an afternoon spent with one of my dear friends, with my mom, and outside in the garden. For anyone who doesn't know, I worked at a flower shop for years and even owned my own floral company for a little bit in Tennessee. It has since been retired, but there's still one client that I'll always make an arrangement for. So, sometimes the flowers tell you where they want to go. No guidance, only intuition. Hey, Ricky, here's how it goes.
We actually do like that.
I am now ready for dinner. I changed my outfit and changed my jewelry. This necklace is one of my favorite things ever. My childhood BFF Nicole got it for me. It's from Cezanne and it's like a resin necklace and I love it. I feel like it makes everything more interesting, especially because this dress is pretty basic. These are from Mint and Lily. I'm pretty sure they were a Christmas gift from my mom. And these, I have no idea where they're from. I think it's gotta be like Charming Charlie or something if you're from Arizona. I wore these maybe once when I was 14 and then forgot about them, and I have been wearing them a lot recently. This is my dress and it's like T-length. It goes just above the ankle. But it's from Free People and it initially had these like really big puffy sleeves. And I didn't wear it a single time when it had those sleeves, so I cut them off with a seam ripper, one stitch by one. And then with these sewing skills that I have that are very poor, that are, you know, just hand stitching from sewing point shoes growing up, I redid the seam line here. I also just got these shoes. They're by Guess and they're pretty short heel. They seem comfortable, the amount that I've worn them around the house, which is basically not at all. I grabbed us some sandwiches from Franklin Mercantile Deli, which is one of my favorite places in Franklin. I love to bring people there when they come to visit. It closes at 2 p.m. so just know that if you're going, it's a breakfast lunch, not really a dinner spot, but it's so good. I grabbed us paninis and I put them in the fridge, but I think I'm gonna heat them up before I head out the door so that they'll be warm for us when we get to the vineyard. and I made really good bone broth, kind of where it's like jelly when you refrigerate it. I know, but that's what makes it good for you. That's what validates the level of collagen. Going to Pages for a bonfire. It's a pretty basic outfit, black tank, blue jeans, but I did layer up the jewelry to make it a little more interesting. I like rediscovered this short necklace from Madewell, and I wear this one every day. It's from Gorgiana, the charm and the chain, and I've been putting them together, and I'm like, why have I not done this more? I love the way it looks.
All the time. Yeah. But you do it enough times. Okay.
I am meeting my friend Olivia for coffee at Primitive, and then we're gonna go to the Nashville Flea Market. I'm so excited because I've only been once before. It's massive. I believe it's the 4th weekend of every month, but it's actually been years since I've been there. The outfit, it's very rainy outside, so I'm bringing out my hunter boots, which I do not wear a lot. I figured it was time they actually saw the light of day, but I think it's kind of fun. I wouldn't usually wear black with this dress, but I am. This is from Evereve. Started getting ready for work already, but I have to show what I got at the flea market. I got 2 things, neither of which were on the list of items I was looking for, but they're both jewelry, which is something I'm kind of going through a phase with. I'm enjoying jewelry a lot more than I used to. First of all, this ring, it's so pretty, and it was $4. So we'll see how long the gold actually stays gold. And I didn't really think I was a marquee diamond person, but I think because the band is the same width as the height of the stone, it works. I don't know. I don't know why I like it. I just know I do, and I bought it. And then I got this necklace. I've been seeing a lot of like larger beaded necklaces, and I have one from Cezanne that I love and I wear all the time. And when I was kind of digging online for similar necklaces, I saw ones that were just pure black, and I thought they were really pretty. I did not pull the trigger on buying them, and then I go to the flea market and I see this one. It has little gold beads throughout, but this was $1. So I spent $5 and I got these pieces of jewelry. So I would say that's successful. I do need to wash this still, but I might bring it on my trip with me. Bi-weekly Tuesday night evening plans. Installment number 2 is happening tonight. Going to Pastis, which is so incredibly trendy and I haven't been to yet. And my outfit is a little bit out there, I'm not gonna lie. This dress I got at Galleria Paloma. I'm wearing my same Guess shoes that I wore the other day. And like the pattern is so far out there. I can't tell if I like, it has ruching on the side, so like this whole panel is ruched. But I feel like because the pattern is so insane, you can't even really tell. So I can't tell if it's flattering or not. I don't know. I don't know if I'll wear this again. But I didn't want to waste it, so it at least had to be worn once. And then to use up my time before I get picked up, I am going to read my book club book because I have book club at 8 a.m. and I've only read one of the 2 chapters. So I really need to finish the second one right now so that I'm prepared for tomorrow. I am hereby commencing my matcha demonstration. And I'm not like so much of a stickler. Like I don't have a certain temperature of water or anything like that. But I do prefer the matcha that I make to most that I buy, which then makes it so disappointing every time I spend like $8 on a drink and then I'm like, oh my gosh, mine is so much better. But at least I can have a good drink at home. Okay, got this matcha bowl at some sort of Asian gift shop. And I got my whisk there too. And then my aunt made this mug and I fill it with hot water And I start by soaking my whisk in there. This is the matcha I've been using. Again, I'm not a crazy stickler with matcha the way some people are, but I find this to be great and strong. And at one point in time, I measured by weight the amount of matcha powder I was using. And after I did that once, I just eyeball whatever looks similar. And now I just put some of that hot water into my matcha powder. Only a little bit at first, so that it makes kind of a paste. Kind of like how I do wasabi with soy sauce when I'm at a sushi restaurant. And then I add more liquid. I also eyeball this quantity, but essentially I just want it to fill my mug the same way espresso would. My sweetener of choice has been maple syrup, and I do about a teaspoon. I do measure this because every time I don't, I put too much or too little. And this is my favorite mug in the entire world. It's from MCM Coffee in Manhattan. I love the color. I let that drip out of the bowl. And in the meantime, I always steam my milk because I am a hot beverage person. The latte art is a work in progress. Wait, actually, this one's kind of good. Look how pretty. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my best ones ever. And then before I'm allowed to drink it, I have to clean everything up. And at this point, I sit on the floor in front of my coffee table, and I bring my journal, and this is how I enjoy it. I'm starting a new journal insert, which there is a part of me that wants to wait 2-3 more days and just begin at the beginning of August. But I'm trying not to be that kind of person anymore. I'm trying not to be someone who only feels like they can have a clean slate and a fresh start when it's the beginning of a month, or when it's a Monday, or when it's the new year. I want to adapt my mindset to not only welcome change, but actually view it as realistic at any given point in time, whenever I decide that I want to make an adjustment. So I'm christening this journal July 29th. All right, I'm gonna round out July by going over the books that I read this month. There were quite a few. The first one that I finished is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. This book was definitely very young, but it was a breeze to get through. You start out in a high school detention, and there are 5 or so kids in the classroom, most of whom are kind of unlikely detention residents. And suddenly there's a car crash outside. Everybody goes to the window to look out. When they come back to the center of the room, one of the students who runs a very seething gossip column for the school is having an allergy attack. No EpiPens to be found. He ends up dying. And the circumstances are quite suspicious, so the school and the police start investigating all of the kids who were in detention with him, seeing how they were affiliated with him, seeing what kind of dirt he had on all of them, who might have motive, who did it, why did they do it. The next book I read was My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and I didn't realize this was part of a series, but once I figured that out, I went ahead and put the next few books on hold. It's the story of friendship between 2 women starting in its infancy when they were very young kids in a small town in Italy, and going up through their late teen years. As they develop, as they forge their own paths, they take very different routes through life. And their friendship isn't this heartwarming, sweet entity. It kind of surprised me because that's what I was expecting from the book, but it's really realistic. I thought it was really good and I really liked the writing. I did feel like the end left me a little bit unresolved, but then now that I know it's a series, that critique is no longer relevant. Then I read Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield, and this book was fantastic. I loved it. It's a storybook, and it is such a good book for entertainment. If you're in a reading slump, I couldn't put it down. The story starts in an inn along a river. I think it's the River Thames, I believe, in England. And this inn and tavern are notorious for the storytelling, so a lot of the townspeople would come in to hear these crazy stories. And one night, as they're sitting around the fire telling a story, this severely mutilated man comes in on the brink of passing out carrying this very young girl, and she's not conscious, and no one can figure out who they are, where they came from, what happened, if they're related, if they're not. So good, so entertaining. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but it's a storybook and it's so good at being that. The last book that I read was Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, and I did not like this book while I was reading it. I didn't enjoy the process of reading it. But after I finished it, I found that it stuck with me a lot, and I kept talking about it and I kept thinking about it. So I think I would probably recommend it as good to read, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to get you out of a slump because it was tough to get through. But basically we're following a black man from rural Southeast America, and he makes his way up to New York City, facing so many crazy experiences along the way and challenges. And he gets to New York and kind of inadvertently becomes the face of a political movement without meaning to. And I think that's all I can say without spoiling it. Again, I'm not super sure how I feel about this book, but I think the sentiment is really worth having a conversation about. So if you like books like that, you'll probably be interested in this. Those were my July reads. The bulk of July was just reading Invisible Man because it took so long. The other ones I flew through. Goodbye, July. Hello, August.